Hey guys, this is Drew Schmidt from the Random Anything, and you're listening to the Infinite Rabbit Hole. Yeah, I've been listening to you guys for a while now. I got exposed to you guys from Asher's from Wednesday We Talk Weird. Keep up the great work. Love it.
Back to the Infinite Rabbit Hole podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy, and today we're going to dive back into the Phantom Black Dog legend. This time, we're going to go overseas and we're going to go back to where it all supposedly began, in the UK. Before we do that, let's go ahead and bring in the cast members. Jeff, what's going on with you today, dude?
Tis I'm Jeff. I am here. I am ready. Let's go.
Right on. Kenzar, how are you doing?
Fantastic. Ready to dive deep into this one.
Again, huh?
Again, yeah.
Yes. So, we're actually recording an hour after we were planned to, because we've already tried recording this 3 times already today. And luck is just not on our side. So we're going to try this one last time. Hopefully it works, because we have a very special guest for everybody today. He had us on his podcast twice, minus Jeff. We had Jake. And you'll also notice that we don't have Jake today. Because we're starting so late, Jake has other things that he needs to do, at a certain time. And he's just not going to be able to stay with us the entire time. Although he was planning on being here. That's a little bit of my fault, a little bit of technology's fault, a little bit of the universe's fault. Or is the universe fake, Jake? Or Jeff?
The universe is a hologram decoded by our hologram mind.
Hashtag fake universe.
I didn't say that. I said it's a hologram.
Hashtag fake universe. Oh, now he's here.
Hi.
Oh, well, never mind. Jake is here. Jake, how are you?
I'm doing well. Change of plans, and I jumped on real quick.
We're already 2 minutes in recording. Hopefully that works out pretty good. If not, whatever. I'm not starting over again, because this is ridiculous.
What's this, number 5?
It's something ridiculous. Anyways, let's go ahead and bring in the guest from overseas. He had us on his podcast 2 times already, like I've already said, without Jeff, because Jeff, doesn't care about other people's podcasts. He only cares about his own and nobody else's, especially Adam's. And Adam comes from the Tales from the Animal Kingdom podcast over there in merry old England. How you doing, Adam?
Yeah, I'm all good, man.
Oh, Adam's pissed too. Everyone's pissed.
I'm good.
I thought for a second there that Adam's mic was messed up. I was like, well, that's it.
Literally would have been a sign. We are an hour past due already. Adam, I want to be the first to say I'm sorry, man. This is not normally how this goes, and this is completely unprofessional, but we're not a very professional podcast. So you just got to deal with it.
Whoa. You're not professional.
Speak for yourself, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Goodness
Why don't you
gracious.
spoon feed it to Adam, too?
All right. Yep. I'll take that. That's fine for today. That'll do. Anyways, Adam, welcome to the Infinite Rabbit Hole, man.
Yeah, cheers, man. It's good to see everyone. It's good to be here.
Yeah,
man.
We all have faces,
except me.
Still can't see yours. Oh, actually, we can. There's gonna be a picture of you holding a nice drink.
Yeah, that's good, man.
Yeah.
I think I actually stole that as well. I think I actually stole that pint glass as well, because I'm just a dirty English man who steals pint glasses. Apparently, yeah.
Very, very well. Good stuff. So, what do you know about the Black Dog?
What do I know? Right. Well, I did know a lot, and the last hour has kind of wiped out everything from my brain. because we've had some interesting conversations and stuff off air. But honestly, dude, when you said about it and was like, oh, you know, you was going into the Phantom Black Dogs and stuff like that, I had a look, and I've never heard about it before. Even being from England,
Really?
I've never heard of it before. So I was quite interested to have a look, and then when I listened to the part 1, I was like, oh, cool, man. So it is, you know, it is over my end of the woods, but yeah, I'm open to receive anything you've got.
And if you guys haven't guessed yet, Adam doesn't have a paranormal podcast. He has more of a, what'd you call it, a talk show podcast?
Yeah, I talk to anyone about anything, really. That's the kind of niche that I'm going for with the podcast. So, yeah, I have anyone on from, like, well, anything, really. If you like trains or if you like anything, I'll come on the show and talk to me about it.
Well, that sounds like an exciting episode. Let's talk about trains.
I know, that was the worst thing. I was like trying to think of something like, but the only other thing I could talk about was the blind. The only thing I could talk about was the blind guy, and I was like, I don't want to start with that, but yeah.
Well, tell us a little bit about your podcast. I mean, how long have you been podcasting? And give us a little bit about it, man.
How long have I been podcasting? Since February 2021. Me and a very good friend started podcasting because I was in the welding bay at work, and I was listening to, Joe Rogan, Sam Tripoli, things like that, and I just couldn't stand the American accent. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. And I was like, God, I just want to listen to someone English and moan about, biscuits and tea and fish and chips and shit. And I was like, okay. So I said to him, look, do you want to start a podcast up? And we used to just sit and chat every Sunday about anything you could imagine. And then, long story short, he left in October last year. I'm not really the confident type of person to speak to people. But all of a sudden, I was thrust into that. Well, I either close the podcast down or I go, well, I'll start it on my own. With that, I started just finding people online like yourselves, got them on board and just spoke to them.
How did you find the Infinite Rabbit Hole?
How did I find you? I think it was through Ashes.
Oh, yes. That's right.
Yeah.
We did talk about that.
But I remember I had to go through the website and everything.
A trip. Yes, you did. Yeah, you were one of our first contactees through our website because it was shortly before you reached out to us that we put the website up.
Mm.
So congratulations
on
something you probably don't care about. But no, it was awesome too. We had 2 great episodes. We got to talk about whales, right?
Yes,
and their legs.
I don't know if you know this, but in our group chat on Facebook Messenger, we use whales for everything. We use the whale emoji. Like we swapped out the thumbs up for the whale emoji.
Awesome.
And now whenever we type whale, it like rains whales through the messenger screen. It's
like instead of very well, it's very whale. Yeah.
Yeah. So you started that for us. So I just want to say thank you. That's a thing here now. We're gonna eventually make a T-shirt with whales on it, and nobody's gonna know what it means.
I would literally buy that.
That would be great.
Yeah,
man. Hook me up. I want to buy one of them, man.
Right on. You got it. Does anybody else have anything to put out before we jump into these Phantom Black Dogs?
I do. I wanna give a shout out to our good friend Danny.
Danny.
Just wanted to let Danny know that he's an absolute rock star.
He is. He if we have anybody that pumps up the Infinite Rabbit Hole name on a daily basis, other than us, it's Danny. Danny is a stud. Appreciate you, Danny.
Absolutely.
Danny markets this show more than I do. But I'm not mad about it. Yes, I do.
Way more.
Only sometimes.
We need
Good job,
we need to get
Danny.
him on for an episode.
We do. Danny.
I would love to have Danny on. That would be so much fun.
Danny, if you're hearing this, pick a topic, do some research, and reach out to us. Well, reach out to us first. Let us know when you're available, and then one of us will start researching the topic that you choose, and we'll have you on. We'd love doing that. If you're if you're listening to the show for the first time, I know, I'm spoon feeding everybody, but we'd like to have our guests on, our fans on. We'd like to have them on the show to interact with the cast and do a topic of their choosing. So that's how Kenzar became a host of the Infinite Rabbit Hole, because she chose to do the Wendigo. She came on, and she was, such a big fan of the show that she just became a cast member.
I'll speak from experience. These guys are pretty awesome. They don't bite.
We just talk a lot of crap.
Yeah, they like to pick on you, but they're super encouraging otherwise.
we don't pick on you when you're like brand new.
Yeah,
we didn't pick on you during your guest episode.
That is true. They're super nice and welcoming.
We have picked on Adam though.
Yeah.
Biscuits and fish and chips and all the other stereotypical Englishman stuff that he said it all. He's like, I want to hear someone talk about tea. Okay.
Tea and trains.
All right.
Trains.
The trains. All right. Well, let's dive into the British Black Dogs, guys. What do you say?
Sounds good.
Cool. Let's do it.
Most popular in folklore and mythology of the mid-1900s England, black dogs, also known as phantom dogs or phantom black dogs, are ghostly canine apparitions that appear as signs of many different meanings throughout the world. The term black dog is a blanket name that covers many different local urban legends that revolve around a black dog specter. In W.T. Watson's book, Phantom Black Dogs, he provides a list of a handful of examples, which include, I'm going to screw some of these up, all right, guys? Gwilgie in Wales, Black Shuck in East England, Yeth Hound or Wisht Hounds in Devonshire, Skriker in Lancaster, Burgest or Gittrash in Yorkshire, Padfoot in West Yorkshire, Harry Jack in Lincolnshire, the Moody Dew on the Isle of Man, the Gert Dog in Somerset, the Muckle Black Tyke in Scotland, and simply the Grim in other places. Older English folklore has references to these canine specters, adding even more titles to the already long list, such as Old Shuck, Devil's Dandy Dogs, Black Shag Hooter, Matthew Doog, and a bit of a stretch for the last one, but the Puka, another English legend that has been tied to possibly being a sort of black dog as well, but many believe that the Puka is more appropriate in the Fae camp. So, Adam, since you recently dove into the black dog lore there in England, did you come across any names that I didn't say?
No, I think that's about it, dude. I'm just trying to think what I've got here. No, it sounds about right. I've only a couple. Oh God, I can't even speak now. Yeah, I think you covered most of them, man. Except he's got
stage fright, guys.
Yeah, I got stage fright. Oh, help me! But no, just for the English folk, it's not Yorkshire, it's Yorkshire.
Yorkshire.
Yeah, Yorkshire.
See, I'm gonna screw up. Oh yeah, dude, I'm gonna mess up all kinds of names today, just so you know. And please correct me, because I'm just one of these, American guys that don't know anything about merry old England.
We should throw some of those crazy Native American language based towns at him and be like, pronounce this perfectly.
We should have that should be like a bonus episode where it's like, let's get the Infinite Rabbit Hole.
Speaking your best American accent, yeah.
Let's get the Infinite Rabbit Hole cast, try to pronounce different names from different countries.
A lot of my area is full of different North American names and whatnot, and we've got a city called Agassiz, but the way it's spelt, it looks like Assagiz. It's pretty entertaining listening to people try and pronounce that one without knowing.
So would you say Yorkshire? Is that right?
Yeah, Yorkshire. Yeah,
Yorkshire. Okay, I'll try to remember that for the rest of this episode, and then I'll dump it at the end. All right. So not a lot to talk about in that first bit. So let's go ahead and move on. You guys good with that?
Yep.
All right. In this episode, we will be discussing the stories, encounters, and regional specifics when it comes to the black dog phenomenon. And in England, we see our first regional specific details, such as the idea that the black dog can come in many different shapes, not just that of a dog. In W.T. Watson's book, Phantom Black Dogs, he describes a few of these different shaped black dogs, the first being the most famous of all of the titles for the black dog, and that is the Black Shuck of the eastern counties of England. Shuck is said to be able to appear as not only a dog, but also a goat, calf, or horse. Same with the Moody Dew of Suffolk, which can also appear as a human. Yarmouth's scarf sometimes will appear as a goat, and the Bargwith can be a pig, donkey, or calf. And the Padfoot of Wakefield sometimes will take the shape of a calf with twisted horns on the top of its head. Although this is not the only region in the world where you will find the black dog phenomenon bleeding into other animals, this is, however, the most concentrated area of other black animals being sighted and being blamed on the local black dog legend. Another very interesting thing about this is that there are even encounter stories involving the dog shapeshifting before the witnesses. So what do you guys think about all these other black phantom creatures?
How, so I don't know, like how do they know that they're different creatures and they're just not named? I think we talked about this on the first episode. Like it could just be the same shit, different names in different towns or whatever.
Absolutely could be.
Is that what we're talking about? Like it's just the same dog, different town?
Possibly, yes.
It's
Yes
weird,
and no.
man. It's weird. I've seen things as well. Just to butt in, I mean, I've seen things being described as white as well, rather than just black. And there's the fairy dog of Scotland is dark green in color as well. And it's like I don't know, man. I don't know where. I know obviously when you in the first episode you said about black is black, just like the color associated with evil and whatnot. I don't know. It's interesting though.
Yeah. I don't think we get into like the white and yellow ones in England too much. There are a couple cases, a couple sightings and reports, mostly black, but I think the one that really stands out is the different animals. And I don't really have an opinion on this. More or less, I don't know. I feel like they're completely different entities, though I could be wrong. I have no idea. This is something that is above me, just right over my head. I don't really know what to say about this specific detail. Anybody else?
Yeah, I don't know. I have the same opinion as I did when we had the 1.5 episode and we were talking about the different colors and all that stuff. It's just like, okay, well, now they're just adding more stuff to it. So for me, it's becoming less and less believable than a consistent, this is a phenomenon that happens. Now it's just like, yeah, let's just throw everything together. Watch out for that fence. Could be a paranormal entity.
Could be a shadow
could
black
be
fence.
The black dog. Yeah, yeah. It's just like, all right, well, let's just add everything in there. Was it the size of a minivan or was it the size of a shoebox? Or a loaf of bread or whatever it was. It's just like, okay, here we are. We're just adding more and more and more stuff into it, making it, in my mind, sound way more ridiculous. If it was consistent and it was just like, there's two types, there's a white one and there's a red, or there's a white one and a black one, and it's, a silhouette of a dog or whatever it is, and it was consistent along every single, story and stuff like that, I could really hang with that a lot more than just this edition and this next edition and all sorts of stuff. Be like, it looked like a goat, but I knew it was the black dog. And be like, okay. And here we are. So yeah, I don't know. I'm hanging, but it's still like,
yeah, I think I agree as well, man.
It sounds like people just making up as they go.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that, dude. Like, it's just if it was more consistent, it'll be more believable. But like you say, someone says it's calf size, someone says it's this size. Is it size of this or what? It's like, oh, come on. It just feels like people are, getting the story, changing it, chopping it about to, I don't know. But my mind's still open.
Well, and the other hand of that is, like I think what Jeff was saying, are these the same thing and people are just describing it in different ways based on their own perception, or are these completely different separate entities and people are just associating that with the black dog. So like you said, the fairy dog of Scotland is dark green. Well, if that is real and someone saw that and they're just like, I think I saw the black dog, but it was green, but they just have that knowledge of the, famous black dog phenomenon, and that's what they attach it to, but they're saying that it's something completely different. Or someone that sees a dog man, they say, I saw a werewolf, and they tell everybody that they saw a werewolf. Reality, they saw a dog man, but all they know about is the werewolf or lycanthropism and all that sort of stuff, and so they just latch on to that idea. So there's two different sides to that. But as far as the believability for me goes, the more consistent it is throughout, the easier it is for me to be like, either this is real or it's some sort of crazy psychosis that people are experiencing, but it's like, the same sort of thing, whatever it may be, or, whatever. But it's just like, all right, well, now just this addition of extra stuff. It's like, all right, well, so I don't know, but I'm hanging in there.
Personally, for me, I didn't include any reports of seeing a black calf or any other animal. When I read this, if I had a real opinion about it, it would be more or less like, okay, these ones are bullshit. That's my opinion on it. If you're saying that you're seeing a whole bunch of different animals that are all tied together, like Jake was saying, your believability goes way downhill. Especially if around the world all they're seeing is dogs, but in this area you're seeing everything else. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's closer to the point of origin. Maybe other animals fall into this. I don't know. But to me, I'm ignoring it. That's just me. You guys ready to move on?
Yeah, let's go.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's go to the West Country. Commonly spotted near burial sites and other ancient areas of West Somerset, Exmoor, Blackdown Hills, and the Quantocks, the black dog of the West Country of England are numerous and have been witnessed in many different forms and situations. A woman by the name of Ruth Tongue personally told author and folklorist Theo Brown a tidbit about the black dog of the West Country. This particular account comes from Quantock. Quote, the Quantock black dog can be friendly and has been known to guard and accompany straying small village children picking warts or mushrooms. I have heard of cottage women whose toddlers wandering about the nearby combe who never worried because of the girt old black dog up over took care of they. They did not refer to a farm dog, said by Ruth L. Tongue by personal conversation to Theo Brown, 19 September 1960. The West Country. The lore of the phantom black dog is so ingrained in the history and society that many places are named after these ghostly mutts. In the parish of Washford Pine, there are two hamlets known as Upper and Lower Black Dog. An old pub in the same area that has been on maps since as early as 1765 is named the Black Dog. In Uplyme, near Lyme Regis, there is a building known as the Old Black Dog and was erected in 1916 as a hotel. This building was built to replace another, which was listed in 1950 as the Black Dog Inn. Other smaller businesses throughout the West Country have a variety of names with black dog references in their titles as well. These businesses are encompassed by roads, parks, and other landmarks bearing the black dog's likeness. The West Country has historically had one phenomenon that sticks out that seems to have tied to the subject. In the times that people would travel by horseback, it wasn't uncommon to discover people who were unconscious on paths and roadways. While the victims would come to, they would very often tell a story of their horses being spooked by a gigantic black dog with red eyes. This trend happened uncannily near moors, swamps, ponds, and other small bodies of water. So what do you guys think about the ties between the black dog lore and businesses, buildings, or landmarks bearing the name or the likeness of the black dog, even though some of these things go back to as early as the 1600s? Do you think there's anything there? Does this help the argument?
No. That's I'll jump in. I think that's just pure coincidence, really. I mean, I'm not being funny. We've got loads of pubs over here, and most of them are called like the Red Lion, but it doesn't mean there's a red lion they've seen there. It's because it's patriotic, over here.
Until we get into a Red Lion episode.
Well, yeah, exactly, man.
Oh.
But like, the pubs are called all sorts of things. Like, there's like the free hats. There's the frog in the pond. Then there's all stupid names. And I know, like you touched upon, there's road names like Black Dog Lane and stuff like that. But there's also some bizarre, not like names. Like we have Adelaide Drive over in the town, and it's only called Adelaide Drive because they named everything around towns and cities in Australia. And I don't know, I would be very skeptical to think that these places are just called that, because English people are simple. I'll say that as an English person. And, it's like Black Dog Lane. Yeah, maybe it's got some correlation there, but maybe it's just, they just decided to call it. That's my 2 pence anyway.
I agree, man. I think that people name stuff whatever. I mean, especially when you're talking about like bars or pubs, right? You're gonna name it whatever sounds catchy or fun. You don't want to go to a bar that sounds boring. You want to go to the Black Dog bar. It sounds cool. It sounds kind of badass. Maybe if you know about the Black Dog thing, you might be even more inclined to go in there. It's just a marketing ploy. But then, go ahead.
What you were saying. Go ahead.
Nah, that's pretty much it.
That's where I was gonna go. Despite the fact that it was in so long ago in the 1700s, whatever, it could have simply just been a tourism ploy. Like, oh, this is a local legend. Let's play off this. Let's see what kind of business we can get by using that. Because even today, people do it all the time. They find a little thing and they name their business after it. Like, what was the little hotel that Brian Moreno brought up? The little Alien, something like that?
Yes, the Alien.
Play off the whole alien thing, right? Like, people do it all the time. They use it as a tourist ploy. So that was my thought process there.
Well, good stuff. Go ahead.
I have a different approach. Are there wolves in England? Or were there wolves in England?
I think there was.
I've no idea, mate. Yeah, I guess so. Actually, saying that, there must have been, because there's a woods near me that's just reintroducing wild wolves again. So there must be, yeah.
On an island?
No, not on this island, man. There's just sheep on this island.
I was going to say, let's
welcome to the suck. You can't get away from him.
Let's put a bunch of wolves on this island with these people, and screw it. Let's put some cameras up too.
Yeah, there's literally only one bridge. There's only one bridge on and off my island as well, man. So that would be pretty intense.
Get rid of the bridge.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Jeez. All right.
I don't know. I'm just thinking about where the legend of the Black Dog originated in the very beginning, and I would bet money that it probably originated in a European country.
Me too.
Probably because of either, say, like the very first dogs that people had, and I'm pretty sure in Europe it was the wolfhound, which still exists, right? And that it could be symbolism for I don't know, how great these animals were as companions. Like, I'm talking about the legend, not so much the pub names and all that sort of stuff. I agree with you guys as far as, everything being named that, for the most part. Or it could be the ferociousness of wild wolves, and when people used to have to travel on foot or on horseback, how difficult it must have been with wildlife that likes to do things like attack people and, all kinds of stuff. And so I'm sitting here thinking about it, and I don't think that people naming pubs and things and street signs and towns and inns and everything like that is so dismissible as a marketing ploy. Because thinking back into our previous episodes, we put a lot of weight into cultures around the world having different ways to describe the same things, like dragons and griffins and all sorts of stuff like that. I think that maybe the black dog phenomenon might have something way deep back in history, that maybe it came from like a wolf problem or something like that, or their companion dog that they had, and that people are just bringing that into the modern era using the names for streets and things like that. Maybe it's more of, for some things it could certainly be a marketing ploy, and for some other things it could be like a rejuvenation of the past, to just like remember our history, remember where we came from, that sort of a thing. So I'm kind of seeing it from both sides right there. I don't know if I kind of explained that right, or what's kind of bouncing around in my head.
That is accurate. I mean, here I live in the Space Coast of Florida, right? And they call it the Treasure Coast, because there's sunken pirate ships full of treasure out there. There's space here, and everything is named after all these types of things. But I think that also there's stuff that's just named something to be cool. So
Yeah.
I don't think it's impossible to name things because there's events or whatever, but I don't see the black dog thing. Again, I'm still kind of in Team Woo, so
I'm in Team Horse Crap currently,
Ooh.
but still, I think that there's probably some sort of historical events that happened that spawned this whole idea of the black dog phenomenon.
Right on.
I don't know, whatever.
Well, let's dive a little more.
Yes, let's.
One tie into many black dog legends in England is a story of a family pet that either terrorizes or protects after its death. This story is highlighted on page 56 and 57 of Mark Norman's book, Black Dog Folklore, comes from Arseg in Inverness, and tells of a family pet that still haunts the forest near its demise. This particular phantom dog is known as the Gulas, which means gray dog in Gaelic. Warning: to those who do not wish to hear something that can be distasteful, please skip forward a few minutes, as this story does involve the death of a young child and a dog, and may not be suitable for all listeners. I'll give you a few seconds to do what you need to do. Quote, several hundred years ago, a bog mortality occurred amongst the flocks in the neighborhood of Morar and Arseg. Shepherds who kept vigil failed to trace the marauders. One summer day, a crofter's wife left her baby outside her cottage in a cradle, while she went to the well to draw water, leaving her faithful collie dog with her litter of puppies in charge. When the woman returned, she was horrified to find the cradle empty and the mutilated remains of her child strewn over the cottage pathway. Believing the bitch to be the culprit, her husband, on his return from work from the fields, dragged the dog into the woods, where he gouged her eyes and beat it to death in a fit of rage and remorse, and afterwards returned and destroyed the litter. Shortly afterwards, to his great regret, he discovered that a large black wolf had alone been responsible for the crime. According to local legend, a phantom hound is said to appear on occasion to this date in the woods of Arseg, seeking revenge on mankind. With recent times, visitors to the district have claimed to have encountered the terrifying apparition of a large shaggy dog with blazing blood-red eyes while walking through the woods of Arseg. So what do you guys think about the idea that these black dogs could be spirits or ghosts of once living physical animals? And what do you think of the story?
The story's brutal.
Brutal.
The story hurt my heart.
Yeah,
It did.
It's a brutal story, honestly. I don't know, man. To be honest with you, man, I'm still thinking that this whole thing is just stories of the stars or something encoded into lore. I don't think that it's like actually ghosts or spirits or something that people are actually even seeing, unless they're just hallucinating from fear or something like that. But I don't know. I'm not buying it.
I think I agree with Jeff. I think that it's more like people are actually seeing something that frightens them, and they're latching onto a story that they've already kind of indoctrinated into their heads through repetition and stuff. Like, for example, if someone knew about Sasquatch and stuff, I'm not picking on you, Jeremy. Your story is separate from this. But if someone already knew about Bigfoot and then they saw a black bear standing on its hind legs, at first glance, they might think that's a Bigfoot.
Right.
Before doing further investigation. And that's why we have so many cases of mistaken identity and stuff. But also, I'd be, as brutal as that story was, I'd be willing to bet money as well that none of our listeners actually skipped forward, since missing 411 is one of our most popular topics.
Oh, absolutely
People
not.
like death on here.
Oh, yeah. Our listeners love death.
Yeah. Yeah.
Adam, Kenzar, what do you guys think? Anything?
Yeah, man. I mean,
just...
that story is brutal as hell. I was like, oh, nice. That's nice and cheery for a Saturday evening. But to go against the grain, man. I mean, I know Jeff and Jake, say, your views, but I don't know. This is where I sit on the fence, right? Because if I was a dog, right, I'm not. Well, I don't think so, anyway. And if I was a dog, and that happened to me, and dogs are sentient enough to understand that that's happened, and they were come back as spirits, I would haunt the shit out of the person who's done that to me, gouged my eyes out, and killed my little brother or little sister, whatever it was, the baby, and all my litter of puppies. I can tell you now, if I was a dog, I would haunt them. So, yeah, okay, maybe, I don't know if I believe it or not, or like you say, it could just be them manifesting an image in their head or whatever, but if spirits do exist, yes, I think they would. I think they would haunt that situation.
I think that the desire for revenge and to get even is pretty much exclusively a human trait. So that's where I'm.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not buying into it, because dogs, like even super abused dogs, they don't attack people after being in crazy abusive households because they want revenge. They do it out of fear, because they're trained and learned that anytime someone gets close to me, it's because they want to harm me. So you see those freak out moments of dogs that are in like pounds and stuff, and it's not because they're angry and they want to attack because, I've been wronged. It's because they're scared and stuff, which could play into it too. It could just be perceived as a vengeful spirit instead of a, stay away from me. I don't want to have anything to do you. You just happen to cross my path and I'm going to be aggressive towards you, sort of a thing. So could be the exact same thing, just call it a different thing.
Yeah.
Especially if the spirit passed with the maternal state of mind and passed into the next phase as a spirit with that state of mind still embedded in it and still playing protector of puppies, whether they exist or not. It could be a reactionary thing, like you were saying. Good to go?
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Let's talk about banshees. In Norman's book, Black Dog Folklore, he describes a belief in many, mostly Irish family lines that believe in a being known as a banshee. The banshee is typically believed to be a woman in a ghostly white cloth that has attached itself to a particular family line. But many families have their own private beliefs that their particular banshee comes in a different form, specific to their lineage, and is seen as a type of familiar of sorts, like a bird, fish, plant, hare, foxes, and in our case today, dogs. These banshees were thought to appear to those in the family shortly before their deaths. Could the black dog phenomenon be a form of these banshees that many families in the British Isles are said to possess? An example in Norman's book, he tells of a woman who claims that her daughter had spotted a very large dog circling their bushes in their garden. When she went to look, she began to act hysterically and grabbed her daughter out of fear. When her husband came home, she met him at the door with tears in her eyes to explain the event that day. She also told him that her family always told of a large black dog that appears to someone in her family before something very bad happened, which was usually the observer's death. The night went by without incident. But the next morning they discovered, while listening to the news, that a man who was a very dangerous escaped prisoner who was recaptured that morning claimed to police that he was hiding and living in a set of bushes in the family's area. Fortunately, this time, the black dog was present for protection. So what do you guys think about possibly it being a banshee?
From what I understood, a banshee is not like a banshee is a totally different kind of spirit. Is it not?
I don't know too much about the lore. I'm just going off of what the book said, and I know that like here in America, we have the Banshee of the Badlands, which is actually a spirit in North Dakota that will scream and is very hostile.
Yeah.
But as for like the historical and traditional Banshee, I'm not 100% sure whether it's what Norman was talking about in his book, which I just presented right now, or if he got it wrong. I don't know, honestly.
So I just pulled up. This is from Wikipedia, so take it for what
Oh,
it's
it's
worth.
100% fact.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. But according to Wikipedia, a banshee is a female spirit, a woman of the fairy mound or fairy woman. It's a female spirit in the Irish folklore who heralds the death of a family member, usually by wailing, shrieking, or keening.
Right. That's what I just put out.
Yeah, but it's not. It's a female fairy. It's a woman fairy. It's not
right. And hold on, let me see. Is typically believed to be a woman in ghostly white cloth that has attached itself to a particular family line. But many families have their own private beliefs that their particular banshee comes in a different form. So certain families do believe that their banshee is a dog, a cat, a plant, a fish. But
that just doesn't make sense then.
Right. Traditionally, it is a woman.
So we just call it all. Every freaking spirit that we come across is now a banshee.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It only makes sense.
It's all a black dog. It's all a banshee.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we can actually trust Adam that he's not a dog, because I can't see him right now. So
True.
he could very well be a dog.
Or a banshee.
He could be a
or
black
a banshee.
dog.
He could be.
Yeah. Or all of the above.
Well, come over here looking. All right. Well,
personally, I've never seen him in real life, so he could very well be all of those things.
Well, you guys didn't seem too entertained by that one, so we'll move on. All right.
It's just because it didn't make sense.
Gotcha.
You know, it's another edition of something else, and it's just like, oh, what about this? And it's like,
yeah, I think that added more confusion than it did clarity.
I'm calling bull.
Absolutely, and that's technically the point of me adding all this stuff. Is you will get these regional variants and beliefs on the Black Dog folklore that don't make sense, or that just adds too much to the pile. But you also have to remember that even though here or there in northern UK, they believe that it could be a banshee, there may be something very similar called by a different name in a different country. And that will be more apparent as we move further into some of the other regions of the world. But I do have some Black Shuck stuff, which is pretty cool. Would you like to go over that?
Yes, please.
Let's do it.
Yes.
All right. Not only in this episode, but throughout the series on Phantom Black Dogs, I will reference a particular black dog that goes by the name of Black Shuck. The Black Shuck goes by many different names similar to this one. Names such as Black Shock, Old Scratch, and simply just Shuck. I find it important to dedicate a small section of this presentation to this particular Phantom Black Dog, as it is damn near impossible to do any research in the phenomenon without stumbling into a mention of Old Shuck. Sometimes the Shuck is witnessed without a head or a single eye in the middle of its forehead. These creatures are massive and put on a very threatening posture when discovered. Black Shuck, in particular, is also known to be seen in different animal forms other than a dog. It has been reported as a horse, calf, and in Norfolk, it has even been reported as being a goat on occasion. The stories of Shuck go back to 1127 along the the English eastern counties of Norfolk, Suffolk, and Cambridgeshire. The term shuck originates from a derivation, that word from the Old English word of skuka, which means evil spirit, demon, or devil. The description of this particular black dog is spot on with other legends from around the world, and this particular one is said to stand as tall as a horse on occasion. Shuck does have a few descriptions that are uniquely Shucks. As far as I can tell, Shuck is the only black dog legend that gives a specific time frame for your demise once you have witnessed its omen of death. They say that within the year you will be dead. So if you are in an area that is known to be frequented by the Black Shuck, keep your eyes closed, and whatever you do, don't lay eyes on old Shuck, as it means your death. The Black Shuck is also known for haunting cliffs, bogs, and churchyards, so be careful when in these areas. And I'm actually going to dive right into the next part because it kind of goes along with Shuck. The Bargwest type black dog is known as a more threatening creature than some of the other types that we have talked about. The Black Shuck is categorized as a Bargwest, and so are many others that we will visit in time. Some of these other phantom black dogs that fall into Bargwest family are the Padfoot, Gitrash, Striker, Hooter, and Shag. And like the Shuck, these creatures are massive and are commonly seen without heads and known to haunt bogs and churchyards, not only around the British Isles, but also around the world. In North Yorkshire, it has been said to also come in the form of a pig, calf, or donkey. One particular story tells of a large black crow that transforms into a black dog with a chain around its neck, to a flame, then to a goat, and finally into the shape of a man, all during one event. The name Bargwest is thought to originate from one of two origins, those being the Germanic Bargeist, bear ghost, or Berggeist, mountain ghost. One of the biggest differences between the Shuck and the general Bargwest is that the Shuck is known to haunt a very particular area, where the Bargwest is seen in a more general and larger area. It is thought that throughout time, there were plenty of attempts of smugglers to portray the image of a Bargwest or Shuck dog by purchasing a black dog or other animal it was said to take the form of and letting it roam near the area. Historians believe that this was a fairly common practice, and that many historical accounts of black dogs in general could have simply been someone seeing one of these traps set by conmen, smugglers, moonshiners, and other criminals from around the world. Thoughts?
I just want to say, if you're walking around a cliff, don't keep your eyes shut because you don't want to see the Black Shuck, because you might end up worse off.
No, I'm keeping my eyes closed. I don't want to see Shuck.
Okay, yeah, good idea.
Good luck with that one, then.
Hope you know how to fly.
Oh,
Good luck to you, sir.
So what do you guys think about criminals purchasing black animals? Now, we've talked about this today, and letting them go free around the area that they're trying to keep hidden.
I think it's smart.
Yeah, man.
It is. But do you think that
it's crazy smart.
Do you think that this could be your answer as to why some of these other animals are considered part of the Black Phantom families?
Definitely could.
Yeah, I could see it.
It's like evil genius level, like having a moat full of alligators or sharks around your lair. Like knowing the local hysteria folklore, the thing that people are the most scared of running into, and being like, I need people to stay away from this area, so I'm going to have a bunch of like black dogs or black goats or horses or whatever, and I'm going to have them roam the perimeter and stuff like that, so that when people walk up, especially in the woods, you know, and it's already scary in the woods.
Yeah.
Even if there's literally not a single animal in the woods except for birds, people are on edge in the woods, right? It's just the way it is, and so you see some stuff that you're already, you've already been told about, the stories and like the hauntings and all that sort of stuff. Man, it's awesome. That's a great idea. Hardcore.
I'd be more sketched out if there were no animals around whatsoever, even if it is just a couple birds. That to me is a lot more scary. There's definitely something there now, and is probably watching you, and you will be the victim.
Could you
Sam Squams? Yeah.
If you're in the woods or in the jungle or the swamp and it goes quiet, there's a predator around. That's usually a good sign. That you should get out of there.
Could you imagine though, if you're in like the dark woods of England and you're already scared shitless and you hear no sound, you're like, there's definitely a predator around, and all of a sudden this little black Pomeranian comes out. It's like, yip, yip, yip. And you're like, it's
your ankles are gone. Your ankles are done
for. What's also interesting to think about is like eye shine. I can't think of any particular time that I saw like vivid red eye shine, but I'm sure I have. I'm sure everybody probably has. So, you see a black dog that may be a criminal, or maybe it's just a stray dog running around. You shine a light at it, you get the red eye glow. There you go. Phantom black dog.
Yeah, I think I agree with Jeff on that, because like I was going to ask, like, are these sightings in the daytime or are they night? They're probably nighttime, aren't they? Because everything's always better in a nighttime setting. And like
you do have go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. Well, I was gonna tell you, a story about my own personal experience with, like, because I live on this island and there's literally no like artificial light of a nighttime. It's pitch black, but it's not pitch black because the stars in the sky light and the moonlight, etc. But I've seen stuff where I live. I've gone outside and I've seen like a black mass run across, like in front of where I live, and I'm like, what the is that? And it's just a cat. It's just a cat. Because the cat is black, it's darker than the floor, and it's like, oh wow. And I could have, like, if I was like, oh, that's this, that's that, and like in England as well, in the same respect, I've gone out past sheep fields at night, and in the moonlight, sheep they look like clouds that are falling out of the sky. It's really weird where I live. The sheep literally look like they've just clouds laying on the floor. When it's a full moon, there's no clouds in the sky. But horses and cows look completely different when they're just like a black silhouette of their body, especially if the horse is eating or the cow is put their head down. It just looks like four legs and a body. And that's where I'm kind of thinking, like, when you're saying that, oh, these are headless beings and they're noted without heads, I just think, is that all you're seeing though? Things like that. And on top of like noises and shit like that makes things more scary, we have a woods that's about 20 miles away from my house called the Screaming Woods, and it's one of the most it's the most nice. It's the most haunted town in England, called Pluckley, and it's absolutely rife with ghost stories and phantom horses running up and down. You can hear all of that sort of stuff. But the Screaming Woods, I mean, imagine the same situation. The Screaming Woods, actually, the noise comes from foxes screaming at night. But if you heard the foxes screaming at night and then it could be a fox, that, I don't know, man. I think it's just really easy to kind of create your, let your mind go nuts and wander when actually there's a real rational reason behind it. So that's why I'm just trying to be rational about it, because one, I don't want to get scared shitless as well, because I have to live near these things, but
So it's a matter of perspective.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Did you see Kenzar's face when you said that? She's like, gosh, that's so metal. She's like,
pretty awesome.
And I'll be honest, I want to go. I want to get a shirt that says, I survived the Screaming Woods.
Oh, heck yeah. I'd totally sit there all night long just listening to animals screaming.
It's
That's
the
so much
coolest
fun
place.
to me.
It's the coolest place.
Take an infinite rabbit hole trip.
There's a pub called the Black Horse in Pluckley. It's the most haunted pub in England, and it's such a weird place. Like, it's haunted as hell, as you can imagine. And there's actually, in the pub, there's scratch marks on the floor where they used to hang people in the pub, and the scratch marks on the floor are people's tiptoes, obviously scratching at the floor, and they've just got like a piece of perspex over it to keep it there. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's
That's metal.
Hardcore.
Hardcore.
Yeah, man.
Turn a medieval dungeon into a pub.
Yeah, that's it.
Be like, you see all this this burnt orange color all over the ground? That's all human blood. Like, wow.
Hardcore.
Nice.
What's
I'll
interesting
take
about
another
that,
Jack and Coke.
there's here in Florida in St. Augustine, there's something called the Medieval Torture Museum, and there's also a bar attached to it as well. So there you
Jeez,
go.
nice.
It's a thing.
Right on. No, Screaming Woods sounds fun, actually. Like,
We should do it.
we
Yeah,
should.
let's go.
We should
I'm down.
totally
We
do
should
that.
camp out in the screaming woods.
Totally down for that.
Do
I'll
they
stay
allow
behind.
people to go out there and camp?
It's literally a thing round here that people do go and camp, and like groups of like lads and will go out and be like, oh, let's go and have a beer, and we'll go stay in the Screaming Woods. It's like one of them kind of challenges between friends, like let's go.
Yeah.
Because there's like a story of a woman who's with her child who died in the Screaming Woods, and let's see the ghost woman, let's see the horses galloping through the woods, and these are like thick woods as well. And I've drove through Pluckley a couple of times, and I don't know if it's because I already know that it's the most haunted place, etc., but it's weird. It's weird when you go through there. It's like, oh, but foxes screaming in the woods at night when all you can see is just trees bathed in moonlight is scary. But
Nice.
it's a good place to record an album, I guess, or to do some vocals.
That sounds fun. It does.
Yeah,
that sounds pretty cool. We might have to look into that one.
Not me.
trip, yeah.
Count me out.
Why, dude? Come
Really?
on.
No, I'm gonna stay behind. That way, if something happens, I can keep the show going.
Yeah. He's not gonna buy us out.
thinking.
He's gonna wait till we're all dead.
He's thinking.
So I'm getting ready to move to Wisconsin, and I'll just get a guard black Sasquatch for my my property. All right, you guys ready to move on?
Yeah.
Yes,
All right.
sir.
So cool.
Let's dive back into the Bungay Black Dog. In our introductions to Phantom Black Dog phenomenon, we touched a little bit onto the story of the Black Dog of Bungay story. Onto the I put story twice. Sorry, everybody. Sorry. Where a black dog supposedly went on a killing spree while attacking a couple of churches in 1577. Well, let's dive into that story a little bit more now. On Sunday, August 4th, 1577, the members of St. Mary's Church of Bungay, a small town in the county of Suffolk, England, were sheltered inside while an intense thunderstorm raged through the area. During their prayer for safety during the storm, the Black Shuck appeared and began to attack the congregation. During the altercation, a man and a boy were struck by the lightning and killed. In another source of mine, they tell of two men being killed by way of their heads being twisted around by unseen hands, and another man left badly injured from another mysterious force from Black Shuck that left his midsection squeezed so bad that the man was left handicapped for the rest of his life. By the time Shuck was done with his rampage at St. Mary's, the church's spire and bells had collapsed through the roof, and two people were left dead. Unfortunately, Shuck didn't end there. Soon after the onslaught on St. Mary's of Bungay, 13 miles away at the Holy Trinity Church in Blytheburg, Suffolk, Shuck struck again on the very same day, killing two more and leaving yet another badly injured. After all was said and done, old Shuck left scorched claw marks on the church's door that can still be seen today. People that witnessed Shuck's attack that day are unfortunately long gone by now, but according to George Dudding in his book titled The Snarly Yow, an article was written by the International Business Times that mentions a 2014 archaeological dig that unearthed a 7-foot-tall canine skeleton just 7 miles from Blytheburg. Now, this is what we talked about in 1.4. We're going to go into this a little bit more. People who went on record as witnesses of Shuck's attack that day claimed that Shuck stood between 7 and 8 feet long. So remember, in the first one in 1.5, we talked about how it stood, I believe, 9 feet tall. This article has it at 7 to 8 feet long. After carbon-14 dating tests were conducted, it was found that the skeleton belonged to a dog that lived in the 1500s. Could this be the remains of a flesh and blood animal that killed 4 people in churches on August 4th of 1577? Or was it a true attack from the Black Shuck, East Anglia's phantom black dog?
Hey everybody, bear with us while we take this quick break.
You said the guy was squeezed?
Yes.
That sounds more like a dogman attack.
It does, but so the actual events, from what I understand, because every single source that you go to about black dogs, and especially when you're looking into England stuff, the Bungay church attack is always there. It is the number one thing in all of black dog lore is the Church of Bungay black dog attack. Or that whole day. And basically everyone has a slightly different story. So what I did was I basically tried to mix it all together and come up with one that kind of touched on everybody's point a little bit. And I found that when you look at older articles, that's basically what happened, right? Everyone got a little bit of the story right, and the older ones is basically a mixture of all of them. So what apparently happened from the points of view of the people there is that the deaths and the injuries caused to those people happened nowhere near the dog. The dog was not near these people when they were killed, or when like that guy was squeezed really hard in the midsection. The dog wasn't anywhere near him, but he looked like he was being compressed in the midsection.
Sounds to me like maybe there was maybe it was like a serial killer, or maybe it was like a group of people that were doing things and they just covered it up with the black dog story.
Maybe.
Yeah.
This could have been, I mean, because these two churches were only 13 miles away. So maybe there was some bad apples in the groups there. I don't know.
She said it was like 1500s, right?
Let me get you the exact date. 15.
We were barbarians back then, man. I'm telling you.
How easy was it to murder people back then?
Probably
right?
really easy.
They didn't have forensic stuff and everything, and it was all, based off of how many witnesses were around.
And especially there was a storm, like a huge storm going on that day. So under the cover of a storm, I could see it.
Yeah, I mean the rumor could have even been started by the people who did the killings.
Yeah,
could have ran around and killed a bunch of people, and then showed up and been like, "I saw the black dog," and then,
it was Shuck. It was the Pomeranian.
Yeah, but that's a good point. That's a good point though, because like mass hysteria can set in, especially if there was like a murder, and say, "Oh, I saw the dog," and then someone's like, "Oh yeah, I saw it too," even if they didn't, and then everyone's like, "Yeah, actually, I did." Is it? Yeah, that's one way to. There's one way to kill someone to get away with it.
Yeah, blame it on the Black Pomeranian.
Yeah, in the screaming woods.
In the woods. It's Shuck.
If I go to a screaming woods and see a little black dog, I would literally shit myself as well. I'll be like, oh my god, it's come true. There it is.
If we take a trip to the screaming woods, I'm bringing that Amazonian death whistle with me, and I'm gonna look for another group of campers, and I'm just gonna belt that thing out and just make them just crap themselves, just like.
You need to do that on one of these recordings,
dude. It's so loud.
Do it,
Whitney like forbade me to do it in the house because it scares the crap out of her. It sounds like someone screaming, like a metal scream. It's crazy.
That's so awesome.
It's so cool, dude. It's so cool. But yeah.
We gotta do that one time. Like, you can go in the living room or somewhere else and do it. We'll just hear it from here. That'd be pretty
Like,
cool.
I could do it right now. I just have to get up and, like, leave the screen.
Maybe we'll do it at the
it.
end of the episode. Make sure everyone stays so that they can hear it. It's a good way
Fair
of
enough.
making people listen.
Just go grab it on Jeremy's next little piece, because I'm
Yeah,
going to edit so
for
that
sure.
we're not seeing while he's presenting. So
Oh, perfect.
For sure.
Perfect.
So anyway, back to that thing. I definitely think that something nefarious probably happened, but I doubt it had anything to do with the black dogs. I think that Jeff's point of maybe there was some sort of, because you got to think about, like, Europe for the longest time was just paganism. It wasn't until Christianity, or Catholicism rather, actually started spreading throughout that area that people started getting pulled out of paganism and brought into under the umbrella of Christianity or Catholicism or whatever it was. Actually, it was Catholicism until Martin Luther brought around Protestantism. But so a lot of areas were pagan, and they had pagan rituals and stuff like that. And even the people that were turning Catholic at the time, paganism was still super rich and ingrained in the culture in the Gaelic areas of Ireland and Scotland and parts of England and in Germany and all those different areas all over the place in Europe. That deep, rich cultural and historical, like, paganism was still ingrained in even, like, how they practiced, worshiping God and stuff like that. And that's why we have some of the holidays that we have. And it's like, oh, well, that's a pagan holiday. Yeah. It's because all of that sort of stuff. So I can't think for 1 second that, it wouldn't have anything to do with that if, like, some crazy weird murder string just happened, and, like, what's the perfect time to do it, maybe there was some sort of significance to a massive storm and there was some ritual being played out. Like, who's to say? But I think that during the 1500s and later in medieval times and all that sort of stuff, it was probably so easy to murder people.
probably.
Like, without the forensic evidence that we have now and the investigating and stuff, literally most of all that stuff was just word of mouth. How many witnesses were there? Even biblically speaking, if there was, you have to have, I believe it's 3 or more witnesses to accuse someone of a crime. Like, it's all based off of who was there and who saw what. So if everyone has the same idea of just like, we're gonna kill some people, and then they're all just like, oh, it must have been the black dog, like all that sort of stuff. And then there's variations in the story because maybe it was told differently a bunch of times, right? So I think that it has way more to do with some sort of ritualistic practice than it has to do with a black dog attack.
Interesting. Yeah, that was not mentioned at all, but that is definitely an outside way of looking at it, which makes sense.
Because, a lot of that stuff, like, let's talk about the Vikings for a second. Odin demanded human sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of the most sacred rituals. Like, they did animal sacrifice too, the Vikings and the, wherever they're at, Scandinavia and
Norway.
Jeff probably knows. Norway, there you go. But they was just like, there's different variations, but they sacrificed animals, but human sacrifice was not only demanded by Odin, but also it was the most it was the most special of the rituals.
It was actually an honor to be sacrificed, and most of the humans that were sacrificed chose to be sacrificed. It was like their own choice to go and be the sacrifice, which is kind of wild to think about. But yeah.
Jeez.
And in the other countries of more of the European side of the Ireland, Scotland, England, I looked this up just a month ago because I was curious. Yeah, what was the difference between the paganism variations? They did the exact same stuff. They just called the gods different things, right? So what's to say that killing people in this circumstance wasn't just another form of a ritual, except maybe the people that were being killed either were willing participants or they weren't. And either way, even if they were, people were trying to stamp that paganism out. So even if they were willing participants, they would have been charged with murder had they said, "Oh yeah, we killed those people."
Yeah.
So why not blame it on some deep-rooted, cultural lore like the Black Shuck?
I get it.
So yeah.
Any more?
That's where I went with that. Nope.
Anybody? Kenzar's quiet.
Kenzar's just observing right now.
All right.
He's like, this Jake guy's so full of crap.
All right. In 1972, while on duty at the Gorliston Rescue Headquarters in Norfolk, Coast Guard Graham Gant witnessed a large black dog in the beach at about 4:45 a.m. on Wednesday, April 19th. The dog was running around as if it were looking for someone and continued to do so for a few minutes. But what really freaked Grant out was when the dog simply disappeared right before his eyes and never reappeared. At the place of Grant's sighting, there is nothing the dog could have hid under or behind. It is as beach gets. The investigators are convinced that Graham Gant is one of the best recording sightings of one of these phantom black dogs. This encounter happened very shortly after the Coast Guard first set up shop in Norfolk, and Graham Gant was not familiar with anything in the area yet, and neither was anyone else in that service. In the district of Norfolk, the legend of Black Shuck is the local black dog of lore. Black Shuck is said to be a harbinger of doom and storms. Shortly after Gant's sighting of Black Shuck, a strong gale is on record as causing quite a bit of damage to the coast of Norfolk. So what do you guys think about Graham Gant's encounter?
Randomly appearing and disappearing sounds like his eyes are playing tricks on him.
Well, yeah, that is a very common thing for these phantom black dogs to do, though.
It's true.
And also the storm connection again. I think that's it's like if you're already expecting something to happen and then something does happen, maybe it's easier for your brain to latch onto that and be like, it was a black dog.
What year did you say again? 1972? Is that what you said? Or am I hearing things?
1972, yes.
Okay, never mind.
Okay.
Nailed it.
I was gonna say
those hippies. I know.
Like if it was like if it was like 17 or 1892, I'd maybe question what if these people needed glasses and they're just blind as bats and seeing things. Because I struggle with that, as we can see. I have glasses, so
since when?
So I see a bird in the distance, but it doesn't look like a bird. It looks like a rat, right? Because I'm blind and that's what I'm seeing.
Huh. Well,
I don't really find that story very credible at all, really. I just think, but I'm obviously on an island. I'm surrounded by beaches. Like, everywhere is coastline. And I've stood on the beach all the time, and I can see things, and it just disappears. But, is it because, like you say, I'm not focusing on it, or it just disappears without me seeing where it's gone? Has it gone behind? I know the report says there's nothing it can hide behind, but I don't know, man. I think it's a little bit too far-fetched for me, but only due to my own experiences, because I can look at a beach and it'll have like 5 miles straight of nothingness, and especially the beaches we have, dogs run along the beach all the time. They run along the beach up and down, and my wife could say to me, "Oh, did you see that staff running up?" No, I didn't see it. What do you mean you didn't see it? No, she ain't seen a phantom dog, has she? It's just I haven't noticed it.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't really buy that one.
Or is she?
Well, yeah, maybe she is. Yeah, who knows? I don't know, man. Just to think that's like.
Did we lose him?
We lost him. While he loads back, I just want to say, I think that, and I've said this before, I think we all said this before, I think that when you're scared, you see things. Our brains aren't good at actually seeing stuff, believe it or not. Our brain fills a lot of space in,
Yeah.
which is why you have things like optical illusions and all kinds of other stuff. But I think that if you're out in the dark and you're already on edge or you're afraid and you see anything, you might not even see anything. Your brain can put something there to fill the space. So you might actually see what you think you see and you believe that you saw it, although nothing is there. And I think that's probably what most of these encounters, and not just these, but a lot of paranormal or cryptid encounters, I think it's just people's brains just putting the information there because that's what the brain does.
I may be crazy about this, but is there not a lag between what we actually see versus what we see in our heads? There's like a little bit of a lag between our brains and what we're seeing with our eyes. Am I crazy? How does that work?
There is. It's really short, I think, though.
Yeah.
There is a recent study that says there is a lag, but it's so short that it's imperceivable. And then there's another story or another study that says that there's like 7 seconds, which is complete bullshit.
I think that's what I was reading or thinking about was the 7-second lag, which does seem really ridiculous to me. It's 7 seconds is a long time.
Think of like a baseball, right? Someone tosses you a baseball and you see it, and then 7 seconds goes by before your brain captures the image. You would never be able to catch a thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, ever. So that's complete horseshit. But anyways.
Like 3 seconds would make a whole lot more sense to me.
Not
but
even 3.
That seems a lot. I mean,
the
3
amount
seconds
of
is a long time.
Of lag has got to be so small because you got to think about like the time that it takes for light to bounce off something for you to see it is probably fractions of a second, right? And then your brain is firing these synapses at pretty much the same speed, so you're talking 0.0000 something of a second between when you see something and when it registers.
Yeah.
That's a whole different like conversation in itself.
That's
like even like
another rabbit hole altogether.
If you scan your computer screen, if you notice you're not getting a smooth sweep all the way around, your eyes stop.
They do like a jet
in sections. They go as it goes. And what your brain is doing in order to get a full image right there is it's filling in the most likely thing you're going to see next from your peripheral vision. So it's just like it's capturing all this over here and it's putting it in front of you to fill in those gaps, right? If you're seeing this image, that image, those gaps right there, it's filling in that information because of your peripheral vision.
That's why they say
it's like
you learn the most out of your peripherals is because that's where you see the most.
So even if you see it, doesn't even make it real. Like your brain could just be filling in nonsense just because it's already conditioned through history or through culture or whatever it is to fill in those gaps of, things that it can't perceive with something that's likely to, occur because of your upbringing and stuff. Like it's wild how brains work and stuff. So I'm totally on board with Jeff.
So just to interject, guys, I mean, like I know Jeff said about that you can, a lot of the times you see things and the brain puts the image in, in the head as such. Have you guys ever seen anything? I'm talking about Black Dog in particular. Have you guys ever seen anything like it?
Yeah, I mean, it happens to me all the time, right? I live in Florida, and it's nothing but woods and swamps around where I live and where I lived the last 2 years. And yeah, man, I would come outside and get spooked just because it's spooky out. And for a second or two out of my peripherals, I'd be like, there's something there. And then you look and then you kind of analyze and you're like, okay, maybe not, probably not. I'm just scared. You know what I mean? Like but yeah, absolutely, all the time.
I think it's the same thing as like when people see the shapes in the clouds. We brought that, whatever that word for it is, a couple episodes back. But that people are, if they're looking for something, like people that see like a bunch of foliage and they can see a face in the foliage and they're like, it's a ghost.
Yeah.
It's looking at me. And they get all like weirded out and stuff. It's because our brains want to see faces and stuff, right? That's how we recognize people, is by looking at their faces. So we see recognizable shapes. And so if someone out of the corner of their eye sees a recognizable shape, and for them, maybe they're, it's an animal silhouette or a shape or something like that, right away they can just be like, I can see it right here in my peripheral, and this is a hand. And then I look, and it's, well, in this circumstance, it is my hand. But maybe it's a sweatshirt that's hanging up over here, and I'm just like, my brain's telling me that it's something familiar when it's really just, the cloth is rumpled.
I actually have kind of a recent story. I was working. We had to go into the electrical room, and in this specific building, someone had hung up one of those poncho rain things.
Mm-hmm.
And the way it was hanging, and this thing had been there for a while because it was all torn up and tattered. But when you're in the dark, that looked like something was coming at you. Plus, there was a wind,
Mm-hmm.
there was a breeze in there, so it was moving around. It definitely looked like something was coming at you until you turned on the light. So, your brain definitely plays tricks on you all the time.
If you want a really good example of people who see shit that's not there, go to any Bigfoot Facebook page, and you will see a whole bunch of people that post pictures of red circles in the woods.
Those dang red circles.
And they're like, the Bigfoot is right here. And everyone in the comments, it's like 50-50. People are like, oh my gosh, yes, look at the Bigfoot. And then the other people are like, you're dumb. And it's literally just bushes, dude. There's nothing there.
So the word is pareidolia, and that's seeing shapes in objects. And that's what the Rorschach ink blot test is based off of, is your mental state and perception will allow you to see a certain image in nonsense because of whatever you're focusing on. So that's why, we see things like that. Like a log, and people say it's Bigfoot. Or a shadow or a trash can, and someone might say, instead of a gray metal trash can, it's a gray animal next to me, until they look at it and
it's
they realize
Shuck.
And you could say that, you could look at it and be like, oh, sorry, my eyes were just playing tricks on me. Or you could be like, it was there and then it disappeared.
It's Shuck.
I know what I saw. I'm not crazy.
Shuck took the form of a trash can today. All right.
Hey, man, if we're going to start adding stuff,
All right, let's move on. I got a couple encounters here. So,
nice.
Let's continue here. In August of 1967, just shy of midnight, Jack Disney was walking from West Horndon to Brentwood in Essex County. It was when he approached Horse Pond. There he saw a large, dark dog moving in his direction. Disney described the dog as the size of a Great Dane with glowing red eyes. Although he admitted to feeling threatened, he continued his walk, and as he came to the pond, the dog simply passed him right by, not even giving him any attention. This encounter with a black dog is now referred to as an example of a harbinger of death, as Disney's brother died of a heart attack a week later, and his wife, a year later, died of a hemorrhaging stroke in her 40s. That's it. That was Jack Disney's brief encounter.
Yeah, that's just circumstance.
You think
that's something
just
that
bad
happened.
luck?
Yeah, that's what I'd say.
I had in February going into March, I had 3 close people to me pass away. And I saw squirrels the entire month. Does that mean that squirrels are the harbingers of death, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just like, that's just circumstance.
Or they could be death squirrels.
Well, I keep seeing them, and you guys aren't dead, so that's good.
All right. Let's move on. Ready to move on?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got 4 more little pieces left. That's it. Another place many have witnessed one of these black dogs is in their own homes. In a letter dated in 1960, Miss Garth Hayward outlined her experience with a large black hound in her manor in Crosscombe of Somerset, England. She was busy rearranging her curtains in preparation for her guests that day when she witnessed what she described as a very large, all-black staghound-shaped canine coming through the door and ran upstairs. She replied by yelling for her husband, as she thought it was the family sight dog, Psyche, running through the house, and she did not want her to track her muddy paws through the house before guests arrived. As she yelled for her husband, she began to give chase to the animal, and to her surprise, the dog was nowhere to be found. In fact, there was absolutely nowhere for it to hide either. As the husband arrived at the stairs, he was upset as to why she was yelling, because Psyche was with him at the other end of the house, sleeping in her kennel. Later that day, Miss Garth Hayward witnessed the same massive hound by the pond on her property, making massive leaps over her bushes about 12 feet high. During one of the leaps, she witnessed the animal disappearing into thin air at the peak of its leap and never reappearing. So what do you guys think? Are they all just BS? All of them? All these stories are just BS, Jake?
Yep. Yep. I don't know. It feels like there's an explanation for most of them. And then the ones that there isn't an explanation for, it's because it's from the perspective of the person that saw it. And it's just like, well, there's no way that we could possibly know for sure if they're telling the truth or not.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that people like being deceptive because people like to get the attention from it. So,
Yeah. Maybe this was a way. Go ahead.
People will make up any kind of story for their 15 minutes of fame. Sorry.
True.
Yeah.
I mean, this could be one of the she imagined a black shadow going upstairs, or maybe she did see, a black dog going upstairs. And when she was unable to find it, maybe this was just her way of proving, quote unquote, air quotes, proving that it was a black ghost dog, that she made up this elaborate extra scene where it jumped over hedges and disappeared, as a way to validate her incorrect telling of what she saw or did not see, or whatever the reason why she was yelling. I don't know, but
I think you could be right there. I think you could be right there, dude. I mean, this comes into my own personal experience by seeing the phantom black dogs at home. I mean, in regards to that story, I'd like to know what else is happening in her life. What else is she going through if she's seeing stuff like that? Because I mean, probably 4-5 years ago, I had to have my dog put down, and he was a greyhound. So he's a big black dog. And one night I woke up, I was at my wife's house when we was living with her parents, and I woke up and I looked in the doorway, and I kid you not, there was a big black figure, and next to it was a smaller dog shaped figure, exactly the size of my dog. And I was like, what is that? And I told my wife about it, and I was like, what is that? But my rational mind is going, that's because you're upset. You're grieving still, man. You're just thinking your dog's there. And my head went crazy. I mean, I haven't even told this story on my podcast. And I started to think, well, what is it? Is it a demon man with my dog? Is he taking my dog? So what's going on? And it really, really messed with my head a lot. And I was like, no, I don't get this. And from then, I would see in my mum and dad's back garden, where he used to run up and down like 100 foot of garden, I would see this ball of big blackness in the corner of my eye. And I'm like, oh my God, is Ollie running? No, it's not. Of course it's not. And that's with a lot of these stories as well. I mean, a lot of it is BS. It might be murderers in churches. It might be all sorts. But it might be they're going through stuff as well, especially with the older stories. They might be going through a lot emotionally, and they're just making stuff up or just trying to put, 2 and 2 together. But that's just my perspective of it. And since now I've got over it and I'm kind of, moved on, I haven't had any more sightings. But when it was the worst time of me grieving for the loss of my pet, I could think I'd see him everywhere. So,
yeah. Maybe it's like you're just it's the routine of it, right? You're used to the routine of,
Yeah,
when I'm over here, I have the dog in the backyard and he's running all over the place and stuff like that. And then it's the developing of a new routine and the missing of the old one.
yeah,
And then,
exactly that, man.
grief and emotion and all that sort of stuff, for sure. Can't trust our brains for anything. They're crazy.
No, oh, they're useless, really. They're useless, really, man. Like I say, I could walk into. Soon after his passing, I mean, he was like 10 years old, so the routine was there for 10 years. And like, I'd walk in the front room, and all of a sudden, I'd think he was in the front room in his bed, but there was no bed anymore, and there was no dog, obviously. So it's crazy. It's crazy what the mind does. And I think with a lot of sightings and paranormal sightings and things like that, the brain can play some, good tricks on you. But
Yeah.
Right on. You guys ready to move on?
Yeah.
All right. There are many stories of a protective black dog from all around the world, but in Lincolnshire, there seems to be no other kind. There are many stories of a ghostly black dog appearing during critical times of someone's adventure in Lincolnshire. One such story involves a woman going by the name of Mrs. D. One day, Mrs. D was traveling from Crosby to Scunthorpe when she witnessed a black dog trailing behind her. As she approached, two rough Irish laborers who were saying some very inappropriate things to her and saying that if her dog wasn't there, they would do such and such to her. As she made her way back home, she went to tell her husband about this amazing dog who seemingly protected her. But as her husband attempted to find the dog, it was gone. The story of Johnny Greenwood involves him traveling through a forest for at least a mile both ways as he was being followed by what he assumed to be a dog, but he could not see due to the darkness of the woods. All he heard was the footfall of the animal. As he exited the forest on both ends, the animal disappeared. A few years later, a few men were arrested after escaping prison around the time that Johnny was traversing the forest. The men admitted to planning to kill him that night as they thought he was too close to their hiding place, but chose not to because of his massive black dog. A story that appears in April 1959 edition of Methodist Magazine by writer Ethel Whitaker, who tells the story of her father, Reverend Samuel Whitaker, and his encounter with a ghost black dog. The story tells of the Reverend having to walk a great distance by himself, and as he left the town, a black dog came to his side and began to walk with him. Unfortunately, there is no record of how the Reverend reacted to the dog giving him company, but the story continues. As Mr. Whitaker was walking, two very large men appeared and were attempting to be physical with the Reverend. The dog began to snarl and defend Samuel, and the men ended up leaving him alone after deciding that the large black dog was not something they wanted to risk dealing with. Soon after the incident, and once the coast was clear from the dangerous men, the dog simply disappeared. After the dog vanished, Mr. Whitaker asked around in both his departed town and his destination town to see if anybody knew anything about the dog. Nobody was able to identify this creature. This is common in many different phantom black dog stories. The animal appears, does its job, and simply disappears. Sometimes the dog walks behind a bush, tree, or wall and is never seen again, and other times it vanishes right before the witness's eyes. These stories and many more are detailed in Mark Norman's book, Black Dog Folklore, where he dives into more detail about the protective black dog, or dogs, of Lincolnshire. So what do you guys think about the protective black dogs of Lincolnshire?
So I'm going to make a parallel here that doesn't quite fit, but I'm going to do it anyway. I don't want people to think that I'm some prude when it comes to this sort of stuff and that I don't believe in any sort of spiritualist type things, right?
Mm-hmm.
I am a Christian man. I do believe in angels and demons and things like that. Although I would say that there was a story I heard, it must have been a decade ago now, and I don't have the reference up in front of me, but that there was two escaped convicts who were murderers that tried to murder a child, but when they approached the kid after they were caught, that this was their they were caught by the police short time afterwards. After they were caught, this was what they had said is that when they approached the kid, who they were going to harm, they didn't, because these two massive muscular men appeared next to the kid, and they felt incredibly threatened, and so they left. And in interviewing the child, he said that he was completely alone and had no knowledge that these two men were behind him and were going to attempt to attack him, and that there were no men that were standing next to him. And the kid and his family were Christian people, and they attributed it to an angelic presence that kept him from being harmed, right? So I'm not gonna, and to me, I mean, that feels to me like it could be a real thing. I wasn't there, I don't know. But I'm not gonna say that I don't believe in demonic presence and I don't believe in angelic presence. But when it comes to that sort of stuff, there was never a time in any sort of, and I know the Bible doesn't house every single angelic event that ever happened, but as far as I know, there was never a time where an angel appeared in the form of an animal. But at the same time, if we're talking about spiritual beings that aren't bound to our laws of physics and you know, logic and rationality and all that sort of stuff, why couldn't they? So I don't know. That one's tough for me, especially talking about the Reverend, because usually I would attribute a black dog phenomenon to be something more in the realm of the demonic, right? And you don't necessarily have to be practicing any sort of witchcraft or paganism or anything like that. You could just simply not be a Christian person and be susceptible to all that sort of stuff, because you're just, you know, on open playing field. And so it's that one's a tough one to me, but at the same time, you know, I wasn't there. I would have to look further into it and see the actual reports of the people who were involved in this sort of stuff, and, you know, draw a basis out of that, or a idea out of that. But this is a different circumstance, and I'm happy for the variation. It's not just something negative again this time, right? It's not fear provoking, at least for the people that were being protected. It was fear provoking for the people that were going to attack the person that was being protected, right? So yeah, very interesting. And I have no idea.
Interesting. Anything else? Ladies, gentlemen?
I got nothing.
All right. Adam?
No, it's good, man. I thought Jake hit the nail on the head there. It's nice to see something rather than like this ominous presence, you know, of all the sightings, to actually be something of a positive. Because not to bleed on about my story, but obviously because I was grieving for the loss of my pet, but I always saw it as a positive thing, and I took that as a positive and was like, oh, actually, no, this is my chance to move on, and you know, I got to sort myself out and things like that. So, you know, it's good to see. It's good to see it in that light, rather than, because everything else has always been surrounded by, you know, death, murder, and all that sort of crap. So that's good. Yeah. That's good, man. It's good to hear.
Right on. He's so done with the show. He's like, I hate
I'm never talking to these guys again.
Had my
First
time for 2.5
took up an hour of my time, and then they're feeding me all this crap that's easily explained away.
Jeremy said he had a good episode.
The infinite fake hole, more like.
Oh god,
infinitely fake hole.
No, you read me wrong. You read me wrong, man. This is good.
Yeah. All right. 2 more left. You guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Watson makes mention of a very interesting story involving a man that is only noted as E. Ramsey from a book by Christopher Reeve titled A Strange and Terrible Wonder, the story of the Black Dog of Bungay. In this story, Reeves is traveling back home on his bicycle when a black dog emerges sitting by a signpost ahead of Reeves. The man becomes nervous as he notices how large the dog is and the bright red eyes set among a solid black frame. Ramsey, not Reeves, by the way, Ramsey, sped up and passed the dog safely and was relieved to not have been attacked by the animal. But soon after he began to feel better about his situation, he heard the sound of the dog running up to him from behind and began to panic again. But the dog simply ran past him at a speed that far outpaced Ramsey. He would go on to explain that the animal passed by so close to him that he could smell the rankness wafting off of it as it sped past. And yes, rankness was what he used to describe that. Once the monster was in front of him a ways, he stopped and stood in front of an area known as a spinney in England. According to Google, a spinney is a small area of trees and bushes. Is that right, Adam?
Yeah, I've literally no idea. When you said spinny, I was like, what? No, so I don't know.
Okay, good. As Ramsey drew closer, the dog began to snarl and bark at him viciously. Ramsey said that he felt so threatened that he got off of his bike. There goes my dogs. He got off his bike as he thought he was going to have to defend himself against this dog. But as he stood next to his bike, a car plowed through the spinney from the other side with no lights on and drove directly over the dog. Reeves stopped far enough to react in time and jumped off of the street and into a nearby bush. When he got up, he witnessed the car continuing on its journey and immediately went to see if he could find the dog to try to give it help. He was shocked to discover that the dog was still in the same exact spot, completely unharmed, and now simply sitting there. Then it faded away and completely disappeared. So what do you guys think?
I don't know.
So we got phantom cars now.
Well,
oh god.
It was Ron and Harry in their magic flying car.
No, I think the car was
Whomping Willow.
The car, the driver was drunk, and he drove through the spinney, which is supposed to be like a little. I think it's like a divider. I think that's what we call it here in the States.
A windrow, maybe.
A what?
A windrow. It's basically a wall of trees, and it's to block out the wind. They're called windrows.
Canada.
Interesting.
We don't have
we just
those
call
here.
it a divider.
We just call it a divider. I think that's what a spinney is, right? It's like that little island in the middle of the road where there's grass on it. I think that's what it is, and it's got some bushes and whatnot. I think this is just, a drunk driver who blew through the divider, and if this guy didn't stop short, he would have been killed. And he blamed his saving on this black dog, which is something that we see in a lot of stories.
But do you think the black dog was actually there, or he just said it was?
Well, that's the question. That's the question with every single one of these stories, and that's the same question with not just black dog stories, but anything, Bigfoot or whatever. So you have to take everybody's story with a grain of salt. And this is what I was saying during, I think we were talking about it in 1.5, where it's the sheer number of these black dog encounters and lore behind it that gets me intrigued and thinks that there might be something here. Now, is this particular story true? I don't know, but this does have a lot of hallmark black dog traits, right? Barking and getting a reaction out of somebody is something that the black dog, no matter where it is in the world, does, right? We've talked about a couple different encounters already in the other episodes where this creature acts malevolent, but we even talked about the idea maybe it's acting rude and mean to get you to stop, It needs to do that in order to get the reaction that it wants. So that's what this sounds like to me. I don't have any reason to believe that this man didn't see a black dog. I mean, the matter of the story, the matter of fact is that this guy didn't die by getting hit by a drunk driver. Right? And I mean,
yeah, but his reaction was so weird. It's just like, I see this big old gnarly dog and I think I'm going to have to fight it somehow. And so I get off my bicycle where I could move faster than I could ever move on my legs in order to get away from this thing. It's such a weird like circumstance. It's just like, that happens.
Ask yourself, could you outrun or could you out pedal a dog running?
Yes.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I don't know if you'd be able to
at least have a better chance.
One, but
definitely a better chance. Yeah,
you'd be able to keep up with it for a little bit at least. I think.
I think I think depending on what kind of dog it is,
that would make a huge
punch you down for sure.
Yeah, it would make a big factor.
I mean, if I was in the guy's position, I probably would have just turned around and pedaled away, right, and just said, "All right, well, I'm going to go a different route." Even if he did that, though, he got the reaction, or the dog got the reaction that he wanted. And basically the guy got into a fight or flight situation, said, "All right, let's throw hands." And, you know, and
let's get mauled by a dog today.
And he went to go fight this black dog, and all of a sudden the dog threw a car at him. So,
that's the English way, boys. That's the way to do it.
Long story short, the guy's okay. So, you know, not biting on this one, huh, Jake?
Yeah, it's so weird. It's just like, it sounds like something that someone would say if they're making something up.
I hear it.
In order to not sound like a weenie, just be like, I got off my bike because I knew.
Yeah, I'm still in, man. Yeah.
So we just had another mess up from the program that we use, so hopefully we're good. I don't know where we left off. Jake, you were talking about how weird it was and how the guy could have been a weenie and was like,
yeah, I mean,
for his
because
15 minutes of fame.
The circumstance of the story sounds like someone who would be making something up in an effort to not sound like a weenie, of saying like, I saw this crazy big dog and then, you know, or whatever. It's just like, it's such a weird circumstance because there's just no way, right? I'm gonna get off my bicycle and I'm gonna fist fight this dog. Like even a, you know, like pit bulls. Pit bulls aren't very big, right? I guess they could be, but you know, the amount of people that get, you know, mauled by pit bulls from abusive homes and stuff is freaking crazy. Dalmatians maul people, like all these sorts of things. It's just like such a weird circumstance. Like, people know that wild dogs are incredibly dangerous, or, you know, feral dogs are dangerous, you know, whatever. It's just like a weird story to tell people of just like, I saw this crazy big dog that was barking and snarling at me, and then I just knew I had to fight it. So then I got off my bicycle, and then, you know, to approach this dog to give it, you know, a good old 1-2, and then this car drove through the area, you know, almost crushed me. And, you know, it's just like a very strange chain of events to happen versus like, yeah, I'm riding my bicycle and I saw this crazy big dog, and I'm just like, all right, bye. You know,
it was my destiny.
Right away. Right? It's as if I could ever, you know, outrun a dog that wanted to get me, right?
Yeah.
Versus maybe on a bicycle, but I sure as heck have a better chance, you know?
That's crazy.
It's very strange.
I think with sorry to interject, guys. I mean, when you say about the stories, it sounds like, I mean, I think it loses a little bit because of, not to be bloody racist, but because it's an American saying it. If it was an English person saying it, no, listen, man, listen.
Nationalist.
Hear me out,
That's
man.
what he is. He's a nationalist.
No, because you're saying stuff like, oh yeah, because he was a weenie in this, right? This is how it's going to go down in a pub. If it was in a pub, it would go, you hear me out, right? I was riding my push bike, and then all of a sudden I see this bloody great dog behind me, and I thought, God. So I jumped off it, put my hands up. I was going to give the old 1-2 and the old mush boy. And that's how they talk. And it's like, that's how they would have said it to everyone in the pub. And everyone would have gone, oh, did you do it then? Or did you run away? No, I didn't run away. I was ready to do it. I was ready to do it. And then all of a sudden, this car just run it over. And everyone in the pub, because they're all pissed up, they're all drunk as well. They're going, way, go on, John, tell us the story. And then everyone's drunk together. Everyone's drunk and happy together. And they go, God, did you hear about John and his big black dog? Go and ask him. Go and ask him. And I can tell you, being an English person, I've been in the pub with drunk old men, and you listen to their stories, and you're like, this is absolute horseshit, man. But you're like, but they say it with, they say it with such conviction, and all their mates are around them going, yeah, tell them how you did that. Yeah, I did that as well. And you just think, oh God. So yeah, I think maybe that's part of it as well. Not to say that the American story of it isn't, the American way of saying it isn't correct, but I just thought I'd throw me a English accent in there for everyone.
That's
it's perfect.
That's great. Yeah.
We're jiving. It was a bar story. It was the fish that always got bigger. Every time it was told, it added an inch. To the fish size.
That's funny.
It was the 3-foot sturgeon that suddenly turned into a 10-foot sturgeon.
That's right.
All right, last one. You guys ready?
Yeah.
This is it. W.T. Watson describes a story from W.H. Barrett's book East Anglian Folklore about Sam Rudd's encounter with a ghostly black dog on the beach in Salthouse, Norfolk. A heavy mist had settled over the beach when Rudd began to hear a very loud howling of a dog from a decent distance away. The howling got so loud and disturbing that Rudd went home. To his surprise, his father was already disturbed by the sound that seemed to be louder than anything any normal dog could make. Rudd's father went to the second floor of the house and opened a window and looked out into his lawn with his shotgun in hand. There he saw a black dog sitting on his lawn. The father took aim and unloaded what he described as a half a pound of swan shot, translating to several shots, which failed to affect the animal in any way. The father told Sam that he was convinced that it was the Black Shuck, and that he was thankful that Sam made it back inside unharmed. But the dog kept howling for an unknown amount of time. The next day, the Rudds awoke to the dog no longer anywhere to be found, and bullet holes peppered all over their outhouse as a result of the ammo going directly through old Shuck. So what do you guys think? That's it. That's all I got.
That's a great cover for a drunken episode.
Hey, son, go to the bathroom real quick. I got a surprise for you. Oh, Dad, stop.
It was the Shuck. But next time, clean your room when I tell you to.
I put that one in there because it was an example of one of the examples of somebody trying to do harm to one of the animals and it just not being capable of doing so.
Yeah.
But other than that, that's it, guys. That is that and the part 1 and part 1.5 together kind of builds the English folklore or the English belief in the black dog.
I like it. It's cool.
Yeah, man.
Is it?
Fun stuff.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean, even if it's easily explained, it's still cool.
Is it?
You can have.
I agree.
You can have local folklore and stories and all this sort of tradition and all that sort of stuff, and even if it's easily explained, it's still cool.
This is exactly what the Paranormal Network is saying right now. All the listeners and watchers of the Paranormal Network are like, oh, so Infinite Rabbit Hole doesn't believe in shit and talks about 2 hours about it.
No, I don't believe in that.
I tell people this all the time, though. It doesn't matter if you believe in it or not. The conversation is still interesting to have, so why not have it?
Right.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. And I really like one particular one that we're going to cover. We're going to cover a particular black dog legend. That's really cool. So I can't wait to get into that one.
Oh, I have the death whistle here.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I think I said Amazonian death whistle. Sorry, Aztec death whistle.
Aztec death
It's not. I don't think it's actually modeled off of anything like that was ever discovered, but it makes the same sort of sound. And if you can imagine, so this is what it looks like.
Oh, nice.
If you're just listening to this, I'm sorry, you should really get on the Paranormal Network YouTube channel so you can see the things that we're looking at. But yeah, it makes the same sound. So I'm going to blow this thing. I'm going to push my microphone back and I'm going to blow into it. If you could imagine like 1,000 of these blowing, and then you're just waiting for your inevitable death. And as, the sound gets closer through the trees and you can hear the hoots and hollering and screams of people and also these going on, extreme psychological warfare, right? But anyway, I'm going to blow this thing inside of the screaming woods.
Yeah.
I have to
That'll be
go.
so much fun.
That sounds so cool, especially from the perspective of someone who doesn't believe in this sort of stuff. I don't get all like freaked out and all hokey. If I go into the woods, I'm scared of like things that are in the woods. Like last time when I was over at that Dinky Creek trip and we heard Bigfoot and stuff, there was also a mountain lion. I'm scared of real stuff in the woods, right? So that's like, we're like, oh, the ghosts. No, I'm worried about getting mauled and like, I never see my family again because a grizzly bear gets me, right? So it's like, but yeah, I would love to go there and just, sit it out and hear all like prime time for the foxes screaming into the screaming woods, right? And then I'm definitely making a shirt. I survived one night in the screaming woods, infinite rabbit hole load on the back. But
Do it.
if you guys are ready, I'll give this a whistle. Oh, sorry, locked up. What happened?
Oh, that's scary,
up,
man.
huh?
That's so scary. Oh my!
I
Oh
broke
no!
Oh, you broke it already!
Oh,
I broke it.
oh, you busted it.
Way
I
to
did.
go!
I did it too
That is
loud.
terrifying.
Did you hear it at least?
No.
Yeah, I don't know.
The beginning sounded really like it sounded like
Terrifying.
banshee.
Yeah.
It does.
It did. That was nuts.
A little tiny squirt. That's all you got. That's all you get. A little poop. It's like a little, and that's it.
I thought impending death would sound scarier than that, dude. But okay.
No. Well, I'm not going to kill you, but maybe something will. Maybe this is the harbinger of death. Who knows?
Maybe it's the shot.
The black dog takes every form you could possibly think of. So.
Well, those that stayed for just this he's muted.
Oh, that's weird.
I can't get it.
No. Oh.
I think that's what happens when you get something on Amazon for like $30.
Yep.
But I'll get a new one and then we'll do it. And then, and then I'll blow your mind. You'll be like, whoa.
That
is
is
scary.
scary.
I know, right?
He broke another one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Adam, go ahead and tell everybody, all of our listeners and all our viewers on the Paranormal Network, where can they listen to you talk to others?
Basically, if you go onto Google and just type in TFTAK podcast, you'll find it everywhere. It's on Spotify, Google Podcast, everywhere, basically. TFTAK podcast, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, wherever. Hit me up, man.
And that is the Tales from the Animal Kingdom podcast. Go check out the ones that the Infinite Rabbit Hole crew did on the show. They're awesome. We talk about how whales are going to come on land and take over the world, and a bunch of other really awesome stuff. But before we leave for the day, Jake fixed his little death whistle, and he wants to share that with everybody.
Yes.
All right.
Definitely sounds like a banshee.
It's crazy,
nuts, dude.
Yeah, man,
dude, I'm so gonna get one of those and
I want one too.
every night into the Wisconsin woods when I move up there. Every night.
Oh, you totally should. Yeah, they sound crazy, and I guess it's like depending on like the size of it, you can have different notes as far as like how high pitched it is and how low pitched it is. But it's pretty cool. Adam, it was great having you here with us.
Yeah, man,
Thank
it's
you
good.
for joining us on this episode. It was awesome
Always
having
fun
having you back, but instead being on our show, so we could host you and hear your thoughts on this and stuff. And sorry that Jeremy wasted his time with all the Black Dog stuff, and it was totally made up. But it was great to have you regardless.
Maybe we'll come on to your show again and talk about real stuff.
Yeah,
guys, you're always welcome, all of you. Any time you want, just hit me up.
We'll see. Maybe we can get the elusive Jeff to join one day. Who knows?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Probably
It's good
not.
to see him. It was good to see him.
We'll try. Yeah.
Whitney just texted me. She said, "You just scared the poop right out of my butthole." And then sent me a gift that says "Stop it."
Oh, that's fantastic.
I'm leaving that in the episode. That's staying. She's gonna kill you.
Yeah. Yep. She's gonna be like, "Really?" And I'm like,
Jeremy edited.
Yeah.
Too good.
No, Adam,
Too
dude,
good.
huge pleasure, man. I'm sorry that we went through all that BS in the beginning, and it's now been 3 hours since we planned to start this episode. You're a trooper, dude. Appreciate you.
That's cool, man. What's 3 hours is nothing. 3 hours is nothing. If it's got good company, that's all what matters.
Well, I appreciate that. You don't really know us yet, so that's good. But all right. Well, does anybody have anything else to put out before I go ahead and close this up?
No.
No, I think
I got a new tapestry. All right, I'm good.
That's it.
follow us on Instagram, Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Join our Facebook group.
All that.
Leave us a voicemail, please. We love the voicemails. Go to the website.
Leave us a voicemail.
Hit the
Yeah,
microphone.
if you want to leave
Adam,
your voicemail,
bro.
I can do, guys.
Absolutely, because I don't want
Do
to keep
it.
using Jake.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna be like, "This is Jake from the Infinite Rabbit Hole, and here's the Aztec death whistle."
Oh, you should do that. You should do. That's great. All right. Well, that's been another
Goodness
episode
gracious.
of The Infinite Rabbit Hole, where we talk 2 hours about nothing that we believe in. And thank you. Thank you for spending and wasting 2 hours of your life listening to us talk about all kinds of dumb, awesome stuff. Until next time, travelers, we'll see you in the next path of the Infinite Rabbit Hole. Bye.
Bye.
Adam, say bye.
Laters, taters.